Cosmic Book News recently did an article detailing some leaks from Star Wars The Last Jedi from 4chan. Now, when it comes to 4chan Star Wars leaks, they're very hit or miss. In fact, when it comes to anything 4chan, when it comes to movie leaks, it's pretty much not that accurate. I would say about 60% chance that the spoilers on there for movies are wrong. However, there have been several times recently where they have been correct. Most notably, the Ghostbusters 2016 movie. That movie was on point with everything that happened. The movie was on 4chan. And in addition to that, the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie that just came out a couple months ago, there were leaks to the entire plot on 4chan that came out to be, in fact, accurate. In fact, the guy who wrote this article, Matt McGloin, he talks about that. So just letting you know that the authenticity of these leaks is up in the air. It may or may not be true, but boy, if it is true, we have got some major stuff on the horizon. Now, one of the reasons why I think that it is true, that there may be truth to some of this, okay, is because the article was posted June 6, 2017, which is about 2 months ago, and 2 months ago, there was some scuttlebutt about some of the things that was talked about in this article, but nothing was confirmed. But now, with the releases of some of the toys that are coming out and some of the things that have been confirmed from making Star Wars, it looks like some of this may actually be true. Like either this guy is really in tune with all the rumors and put everything together nicely, or this guy, and that probably is possible, or this guy actually may be somebody who works at Lucasfilm who actually, you know, has real information. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get right into the spoilers right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read them to you and then kind of give you my thoughts. And we're going to have a discussion about this, okay, about like what I think. So, okay, here we go. Last chance. Here come the spoilers. So, Star Wars Last Jedi Rough Cut's been done for weeks. Luke is disenfranchised. Rey convinced him to come back. I kind of knew that was the case. That's no surprise. Marketing will make fans assume Luke went to the dark side. This is very interesting because supposedly on Making Star Wars, they're going to be releasing light side and dark side posters for this movie. And supposedly Luke is on both the light side and the dark side poster. They're going to make us think that Luke went to the dark side. And I have a theory on that, which I'm going to get to later on in this video where I talk about what I think about it. But interesting that this is coming true. There may be something here. Now, this is a major spoiler. Rey does not go to the dark side. She's a reincarnation of the first Force user. That is a major bombshell because we all thought, you know, well, we didn't all think it. Actually, I thought it was a horrible idea. There was theories that she is the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. Turns out that that is not the case according to these leaks. She is a reincarnation of the first Force user. And there's been tons of clues that have been given to us in some of the extra material, like the comic books and like the Bendu from the Rebels TV show, the tree from the Jedi Temple, and what Luke is looking for, that this may indeed be the case. This movie's going to connect a lot of the pre-Old Republic, the early days of the Force, is going to be connected to this film. You can tell based on all the material, the trailers, the books in the trailer, that this may be true. Another big revelation right here. It is suggested the Millennium Falcon may be destroyed. That's going to break my heart if that happens. It really is. Now, here's another one. Force ghosts of Yoda and Anakin said to be featured. Also said that they can be killed. We got to get back to this a little bit later, but it has been heavily rumored for quite some time that Hayden Christensen is coming back to portray Anakin as a ghost in this movie, and that Yoda, Frank Oz, with the puppet Yoda as a ghost, will be coming back. In fact, it's pretty much all but confirmed that Yoda's going to be in this movie. This is nothing too major. He could have just pieced it together himself. Now, this one is one where it's a little bit interesting. Benicio del Toro's character is said to be named Zen. Oh, let me turn that off. Said to be named Zen, a known double-crosser. He's famous on both sides, but Leia mentions how he helped the Resistance and even the original Rebellion and asked him to help one more time take down Snoke. The reason why this may or may not be true is because it's been confirmed that Del Toro's character in the movie is named DJ, not Zen. So unless DJ is a anagram, some people think it means Dark Jedi, or if it's a nickname for this Zen guy, maybe it's an alias, then this one is not true, and that could lose the validity of this. Says here regarding Snoke, now this is another big one. It said he has switched bodies before, So he sounds like Apocalypse right here. Is well liked around the galaxy and very wealthy. Snoke's story isn't finished in this one, as there's a cliffhanger following the Luke versus Snoke battle. So there's going to be a Luke versus Snoke battle at the end of this film. Again, I have a theory on this, which I'm going to talk about later in this video, about what I think is going to happen at the end of this movie if these leaks are real. Again, it's a big if. If not, then whatever. But I think it's still fun to talk about. You know, I think it is. The idea that Snoke switches bodies, that would explain why he's so old. It's not just that he's actually legitimately old like Maz Kanata or Yoda. He has the ability to switch bodies, which makes him very, very, very dangerous. And that makes me wonder if maybe he is a character from the prequels or from previous, you know, older Star Wars stories that keeps changing bodies and reincarnating himself. That's interesting. It's not really reincarnation, but you know what I mean. So we're going to get into some more spoilers here, okay? The 4chan user also provides the following plot description. Luke meets Rey. He tells her how the Force brought her to him. That, of course, should be no surprise. Her parents were scared of her abilities. She is told after a couple of scenes that she's born out of necessity, that this balance will continue forever with the Force since the beginning all the way to his dad, which is Anakin, and now her. Luke trains her, but he tells her after Snoke is defeated, they will cease to fight and will not continue the Jedi Order. So, couple things here, okay? That makes sense about Luke being the last Jedi, or at least maybe Rey being the last Jedi. But the idea that her parents were scared of her abilities, I guess that means that when she was born, she probably did something really crazy and scared her parents off, and that could be why, you know, that could very well be why she was dropped off, and I guess they never intended to go get her back. In interviews with Rian Johnson, he's kind of hinted at this. He's kind of been, because they asked him, like, do we know who Rey's parents are? And he's like, it gets answered. So it's almost like he's saying, we're going to find out who her parents are, but her parents are nothing special. It's more about her. Like, I feel like this right here really fits with all the clues that Daisy Ridley and Rian Johnson have given us. I think it really fits. Luke and Rey have a meditation scene together where she literally walks through a beam of light and she can control everything around her. She can change shapes and warp everything around her. Luke tells her she will become even more powerful than Yoda, and she says, who? This got some chuckles, for sure. Rey also battles a creature that Luke claims is filled with evil intent and has been threatening the Porgs. Creatures are more in tune with the Force than even himself. Think penguins on crack. Now, MakingStarWars.com months ago on their podcast talked about not just the Porgs, the little penguins on the island on Ahch-To, but also the fact that Rey fights a sea monster. So either this guy is accurate or he got his stuff from Making Star Wars. You know, he might have just heard the podcast and come up with this. She defeats this creature only to see it become a ghost of Anakin. Basically, Luke has tried to push her emotionally in every direction on the island in order to wake her full potential quickly. That's fine. I mean, it becoming a ghost of Anakin is interesting. Luke wants Snoke gone now. It's made clear that Luke is not happy with what Snoke did to Ben Kylo Ren and will do anything to make Rey become stronger quickly to destroy him. We get a flashback with Anakin at Luke's school and everything is destroyed. That we expected from the trailer. Luke sees young Ben Kylo Ren and says, I don't want to kill you, but your life is in my hands now. We learn later that Luke knew someone else would come along to balance things out with Ben Kylo, so he left to get answers to why the Jedi always fail. So that other person who would come along would be Rey, of course, and so Luke left and went to Ahch-To, according to what they say here, and that does match up with The Force Awakens. So it says here Luke used the Force to shut R2 down until this person was found. I'm cutting out a ton of details, but basically you find out the Force is literally connected to everything, and even something like a droid can be aligned to it if it's willed. This is fascinating because if you watch Force Awakens, R2 is asleep until Rey arrives at the base. Remember, Rey does not get to the base till the very end of the movie, and then she wakes up. So it's almost as if the Force of Rey is what woke up R2. And I always thought that was interesting that he was put in standby mode or whatever the excuse was. I think this all makes sense to me. Like, it really makes sense. Rey confronts Luke about his feelings towards the Jedi, his abandonment of his friends, and everything that's happened, and they don't come to an agreement. He speaks to Yoda, she meditates. Yoda admits that Rey is right, that the Jedi of old were hopeful but arrogant, and the dark side of the Force can't be the only future. So, yeah, the dark side cannot exist, cannot rule the galaxy, but the Jedi were also too arrogant, and it's true. If you go back and you watch the Clone Wars cartoon as well as the old the prequel films, the Jedi really were arrogant. I mean, they let this guy Palpatine take over. If they weren't so arrogant, they would have been able to figure him out. But he clouded their judgment. You know, they listened to him. They weren't thinking clearly because of that. And they really did kind of let it slip. You know, they really did. Kylo Ren spends the majority of the film with Snoke, especially with the clones. Kylo is more unstable and leaves to trace Vader's life in hopes that he will meet his spirit. That's interesting because there was a leak that came out last year that talked about this rumor that one of the original plans for Force Awakens is that there was going to be a Vader and an Anakin ghost. But then George Lucas, that would contradict what George Lucas said about how Sith Lords and Dark Force users cannot create ghosts. But apparently Kylo thinks that maybe they can. I mean, these guys own Star Wars nowadays. They can change whatever they want. From the way Snoke acts, he doesn't seem to care much. Also, Force ghosts can be destroyed. Again, that was mentioned earlier. Very interesting that just because you're a Force ghost does not mean you're immortal, which I certainly thought you were. They're adding new powers into this film the same way J.J. Kasdan added new abilities in Star Wars The Force Awakens. I don't really know what they added that was new. I don't remember, but whatever. Rian Johnson did write the film but there was definitely things they wanted included in the film for future media. So I guess the Force ghost dying is going to be a plot point later on. After Finn wakes up, the entire ship they're on is destroyed. I mean, we knew that from the trailer. Leia asks him to go find Snoke's weakness. He's been told someone has information on how to destroy him, and they arrive at the planet at the meeting point, a new planet. No one likes Leia on this planet. Rose leaves with Finn because it's the last escape pod and her sister trusts Finn. Poe leaves after the ship is destroyed as well with Leia and some remaining resistance. The First Order take prisoners. They spend most of the film on the run and meet up with Holdo, who immediately butts head with what they should do next. She wants to have an alliance with the First Order. Leia thinks it's a bad idea. In the meantime, sends Poe to rescue the remaining resistance supporters. So I'm guessing that battle might be the one that we see in the trailer on that planet with like the red kind of dirt or whatever, the red soil with the AT upgraded walkers. So I'm guessing that might be what happens there. Holdo is, of course, supposed to be this important politician in the movie, but I don't really know much about her. Supposedly she does have a conflict with Leia. It says here, Finn goes to Snoke's home planet and finds a crypt. Think Dracula. Very expensive looking place and a tomb that's open. Basically, we learn that Snoke has switched bodies and is well liked by a lot of races. No one alive has seen his original body. He's with Rose and Zen. All of this takes place after they escaped the affluent planet and found the kidnapped resistance members who, after these past years, have decided to join the First Order. Finn appeals to some of them, but not all. So there's a lot of betrayal from the resistance, it looks like. And I like the idea of them finding a crypt and whatnot, and the fact that this guy Snoke can change bodies. So this guy just wants to be immortal, and he finds a way around it by cheating death by changing bodies, which really does sound like Plagueis. I mean, it does sound like Plagueis here, cheating death, and it really does. So that's pretty much it. I don't know. That there's not much else here about what else happens. We do know for certain that Finn and Rose go undercover. That is confirmed, and we know for sure they go to a casino-like planet. So there is truth to some of this. Again, it could just be a very smart fan putting together his theory based on confirmed information and or leaks from making Star Wars. But what do you think about all this? I think I like it. I really do like it. There's some things I have a little bit of a problem with, like the reincarnation stuff and the Force Ghost being able to get killed. This is all new stuff, but I'm the type of guy who wants to wait and see how it's portrayed in the movie before I pass final judgment. So thanks for watching this little breakdown of the Star Wars spoilers. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys down there, and I hope you have a great day.